Okay, a quick tutorial about layers, and I'm going to use Photoshop as an example. So first thing I'm going to do is just open Photoshop, not a picture, just open the program. And I'm going to go to File, New, this is fine, background color white. Okay, get rid of this grid. Okay, so I've got this layer. Okay, here's the layers palette. I've got this layer. It's called background. Get a paintbrush. Maybe change the color, paint a little bit. Okay, so I've got this layer. Now I'm going to make another layer. To do that, I go over to the layers palette and click this icon here. Okay, so I have a new layer. Now this layer is transparent. It's like a piece of acetate. There's nothing on it. If I want, I can fill it with a color. I'll make it blue just so it's a little different. Okay, so now I have these two layers. The top one is solid blue. If I turn the visibility off, you can see the bottom layer. Okay, so what's the big deal? So you have one layer, you can't see the other one? That doesn't sound so good. Okay, there's lots of things you can do. One thing you can do is take the top layer and lower the opacity of it. Now, we're seeing it as a 35% opaque layer, so we can see through it. As the opacity goes up, it blocks what we're looking at underneath. Another thing we can do is change the blending mode. Right now it's normal. I can go to linear burn, for instance. There's a bunch of these, darker color, lighter color. There are all sorts of these, soft light, vivid light. They all do different things, but you can see the two layers together in different ways. Difference, exclusion, and you can have a lot of fun just playing around with these blending modes, divide. Okay, I'm going to go back to normal. The most interesting thing, though, with layers is the idea of masks. I could get the erasing tool and just erase part of this layer. I'll make it big, and I'm going to just erase. So where I erase, you see the layer underneath. I'm going to undo that because once I erase something, the pixels are gone. Those blue pixels that I erased from the top layer are just gone. So I'm going to undo that. Edit, undo. And I'm going to do it in a different way, which is called a layer mask. I click this little icon here, and it adds this icon here that's white. Now, if I get the paintbrush and paint with black, it's going to have the same effect as the erasing tool. But it's not actually destroying the blue pixels. Wherever you see black here, it's hiding the pixels. It's hiding them. It's not destroying them. And if I disable the layer mask, you see all blue pixels again. I can simply enable it again. Okay, so that's basically layers. A more interesting thing happens when you start using more complex imagery. So I'm going to select this photo, and open them with Photoshop. Okay, so I have these two pictures, and I think I'm going to take this one, the darker one, and I'm going to drag the lighter one and just drag it over and put it on top. Okay, so now we have two layers. And again, we can do the same thing. We can try lowering the opacity. We can try different blending modes like exclusion or lighter color, whatever. They all do different things and get cool effects, darker color. Linear burn, go back to normal. But I can also do a mask so that, for instance, I just have the flower on top. And I can get this tool, the magnetic lasso tool, and draw very precisely and easily around the flower. Oops. It automatically is sensing the border. Okay, when I'm done, you see the marching ants here. Now that's called a selection. If I've made a selection, I can select the layer and click this icon, and it makes that layer mask. And see you can see the flower and everything around, all the pixels around are blacked out. So now I have the flower on top of the other one. I can move it around. I can change its size. Free transform, I'll just make it smaller. And I'll just put it in the sky. So anyway, this gives you an idea of what layers are all about and why they're such a great thing. Okay, that's it.